we go. Okay, everybody, we're live. Another Thursday Carnivore Mastermind. Welcome, everybody, to one of my favorite streams. I mean, I love all streams, but this is one of the funnest times to get together and talk about a nice, juicy topic to do with eating meat, eating carnivore lifestyle, just optimizing our overall wellness and health. And so this week we're talking about community and how important that is. And it's really, in my opinion, has become one of the major keys to both sustaining this way of eating and also further developing and pursuing further down the path in my own healing journey. And so I'm glad to see some people here in the chat already. And we've got a nice big panel this evening of amazing carnivores. So welcome to everybody on the panel. Thanks for being here. And we'll kind of zigzag through here. And since we have a lot of us, maybe, we'll just start right off the bat here with the first question. Give us your thoughts about how community has played a role in your carnivore story, how it's helped or assisted, and why maybe this could tie in also to like why we have channels and why we are speaking out about this, because that's not something that everybody wants to do or everybody feels compelled to do, is to sort of build community on social media. So lots of different tangents we could take that off, and I'm glad we have a large panel here to go on all of those tangents. So we'll start, we'll go DC, Rick, and then down to Ashley, over towards Christy, and then down to Papa Carnivore and finish up with Cammie. So thanks everybody for being here. And if you have questions for any of our guests or just, for the topic in general, please leave them with a QQQ in the chat and we will start popping those up here shortly. So, all right, DC.
Okay. For me, carnivore, I've been like keto or high fat keto, and then ketovore, like eventually just down to keto carnivore, 2 years. But over the last 10 years, I've been eating this way, really slowly progressing. After my stem cell transplant, which finished 3 years of solid chemotherapy, stage 4 twice in 2 years. And this way of eating it's a recurring type of cancer, so it's trying to keep that stay in remission is a never going sort of and always an ongoing sort of thing that I need to keep track of. So this way of eating has been incredible for me. Not just keep staying in remission, but the side effects of chemotherapy are quite extensive, and it is helping me to manage that as well and recover from that in quite a big way. So it's something I've been doing a lot of. I'm a strength and conditioning coach. I've been doing that for 30 years, and it's changed my entire outlook on, the world, really, because it's, you find out so much of everything that we've been taught and fooled into believing is a complete lie. So there's a lot, it's a big learning curve, and I think it is for everyone. But I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't change much, I don't think. I think it's, Anyway, so I think for metabolic health, it has also led me to many other things, features like grounding, sunlight, and everything else. I think it's a great way of life. Certainly time saving as well, and just an easy. I think it's a much easier way to live, a much easier way, and I think it's also a great community. People coming together over their health, and I think it's because health is so important, I think, to most people, not everyone, but it is really important for most people, and everyone just wants to be healthy. So I think it's really a good thing to see people actually coming together, finding this information, and the good thing about community is that you can learn a lot from each other. It's not just from you learn a lot more from experience and other people's experiences than you do from lectures, for example. So that's me.
Well, I guess I'm next. If you don't know me already, then you'll know that I'm probably the longest term carnivore you've seen on YouTube. I started in 1983. There was no carnivore community when I started this. It was just me, just a rebellious teenager looking for a way to kind of get back at the system, a way of maybe having a heart attack so I wouldn't have to go to high school, a way of eating the things that I like and not the things that other people are trying to give me. All those so-called healthy foods that taste awful, like wheat germ and oatmeal, and just all these nasty things, like granola and whole grains and all that stuff. It's just disgusting. Whole wheat, greens, stuff that you eat. They give you a salad, and it tastes like you're out in the yard cutting the grass and eating the grass as it comes out of the lawnmower. It's just a really unpleasant experience. So, a lot of people out there today, and you can see there is a carnivore community, which, by the way, I didn't know existed until a few years ago. It wasn't until 2020 that I even saw another person on the internet that was on the carnivore diet. I thought it was just me. Well, I had another friend that started the carnivore diet, but he kind of got the idea from me because he was into bodybuilding, and it kind of helped him with his composition, and he felt good. But in all these years, no one's ever listened to me. They just know that I'm the guy that when you have a get together, you got to have some meat because he's not going to eat anything else. And don't try to give him your grandmother's cookies or your spaghetti and whatever else you're making, because he's just going to call it duck food. And, that's sort of my thing. I was a kid. I used to hate sweets. I was probably the only kid that actually hated it. And as one of our guests here knows, when you're a teacher, they often give, or two of them actually, you give the kids sweets as a treat. And for me, it seemed like kind of a trick because it just was not anything I wanted to eat. So I'd keep it in my pocket. I'd give it to the ducks. And that's one of the reasons I became such a fan of ducks, because I would feed them all the stuff that I didn't like: donuts, cookies, bread, any kind of grains, because I always thought seeds were for birds. You went to the store, you bought seeds, and you gave it to the birds. I thought, that's bird food, it's duck food. So that's where that came from. But yeah, there was no carnivore community. My parents were into health foods. They were always trying to push the vegetables, the juices, the fruits, all this stuff. And it all made me feel bad, getting stomach aches and diarrhea and gas and all that nastiness. And I just, when I broke my arm falling through the roof, then basically I had the green light to eat my own carnivore diet because my parents were busy working. They didn't have time to cook for me, so I cooked for myself. It's like, whatever he wants to eat, let him eat. He's young, it won't hurt him. And it just became a habit. Year after year, I kept eating the same stuff. Then I started to grow. I got picked on less. My grades got better. I didn't feel as anxious as I did when I was a kid. I didn't cry about things like I used to. Everything kind of changed. So even though I wasn't sick, I didn't have any chronic health conditions, I could feel the difference. And even I did try a plant based diet in 1993 and it made a wreck out of me. So I went back to the carnivore diet. And that's really all there is to it. It's very, very simple. So out of this panel, I think I'm the most odd. And I don't think too many people can identify with me, but I'm a pretty good example that people can learn from. And that's why I'm out here. That's why I put myself out in 2022 when I got asked to be interviewed. And I've been trying to get out there as much as possible. I can't get the people around me to listen to me, but maybe somebody out there will look at me and they'll think, well, even though this guy's a total quack, he might be saying something that makes sense and something of value. And I'm glad to be here. And I always come when I'm invited.
That's awesome, Rick. And you are unique as far as that goes, because I think most of us, at least I can speak for myself, wouldn't be here without the community aspect of it, without people like you have been doing it before who helped show the way, because I had no idea, even though it made a lot of sense to me when I learned it. I said, yeah, I could eat meat. That sounds fantastic. So, but yeah, for those who don't know me, I'm Ashley with the Carnivore Brothers channel, and I I'm all about community. When Neah sent this out as a topic, I wanted to definitely jump on, because that's what's inspired me to do this now almost 19 months, and to me, thriving because of it. I think anything that you do that is difficult, whether it be sometimes your faith, your diet, whatever it is, if you do it in community or you do it with like-minded individuals, it makes it so much easier. And it is something that is incredibly important to me, especially after I got started. I got lucky enough to get, entrenched in with some awesome carnivore people. Christy from Eating Wellness was one of my first interactions, and we had Kerry Mann and Adam, the whole Healing Humanity team, and now they're just like family to me. And I'd do anything for that group and whatever I can do. But the other thing that was touched on is the learning. I mean, it's such an individual, unique experience for everyone. It's hard to get the answers, but when you jump into a community and you're part of a community, it's amazing the amount of feedback and good commentary from people who have either experienced it before, or, hey, I heard this from so and so, you might want to chat with so and so. And that knowledge is passed on to each other as we're trying to learn this ourselves, because it's really against what a lot of the at least the people we trusted in the physician community would the advice that they would give us. So, we're learning this together, and that is one of the biggest important things with the community. But I'm all in. I love it, and anything I can do to grow the community and help grow the community, I'm all about it. So sign me up. I'll cook some briskets for you, and we'll meet up somewhere. Let's go.
John?
I'm sorry. I'm always
You're
doing
dreaming
that.
away there, John.
I'm like, okay, somebody needs to go. I thought I was near the end. I'm John Laspina. I'm the carnivore teacher on YouTube. And I started about 5.5 years ago. I went keto, and then I went ketovore for 3 years. And I've been carnivore, solid carnivore, coming up on 2 years this January. I've never felt better, lost weight. I healed a ton of issues. And I can't keep my mouth shut, so I pay it forward with my channel. I'm a retired middle school teacher, and I'm still teaching, and I want to continue to spread the wonderful message about what carnivore, low carb can do for us physically and emotionally and mentally. Community, I didn't realize how powerful this is to helping us sustain and maintain our way of eating. A lot of people say, oh, you can't do it, it's not sustainable. Well, it absolutely is sustainable. A lot of us have been doing it. Rick's been doing it for 40 years. I'm going on 5.5 years. Everybody has their number. And unlike Jenny Craig or any of these diets for weight loss, eating the proper human diet, which is what we like to call it, a lot of us, is very sustainable. When I went to Hack Your Health, and I got to meet some of you on the screen here, and a lot of other people that I only saw on the screen, it was like a high. It was exciting. We hugged each other. We spent time together, and we got to know each other, ate meals together in restaurants. We ate meat together. We bonded. That bonding and sharing of stories and sharing of our health journeys and our issues just strengthens our resolve. And, you come back home from just one little event like that, and it's like it's solidified. This is absolutely not a fad. This is my way of life. And it's like a bell that is rung. I can't unring it. I've been to Hack Your Health. I've been to Low Carb USA. I didn't go to Keto Palooza, but I wanted to go to that one. They just had it. I've been to a low carb symposium in Orlando. I'm about to go to a local meetup. I had a meetup a couple months ago with somebody nearby. I found out that the guy that lives right next door to me, he just moved in. We struck up a conversation. I think he saw one of my videos, and he started eating low carb, not because of my video, but we had something to share. So I have community in my community. It's really kind of cool. These live YouTube interactions, just like this one, this is community. Doing something just totally isolated on your own can be difficult. but when you have the support, it is powerful. So anybody listening to this who's brand new and has just started and you don't have anybody, the best place, of course, is YouTube. And then we can meet people in person, and it's life-changing. It really supports you. You feel empowered and validated that you're doing the right thing, because all these other people are also experiencing these amazing benefits by eating the proper foods.
I see Rick's on the phone to 1975.
Yes. Yes, he is. Someone even commented, a phone with a cord. Whoa. Anyways, I am Christy, the other carnivore teacher, but my channel is Meeting Wellness. I'm a teacher here in Southern California, and I've been carnivore for about almost a year and a half now. I actually found carnivore because of the carnivore community, because I went keto first. Never was in a community, had been a serial dieter my whole life, going up and down the same 20 pounds, and thought, well, let's try keto. And I didn't know that there was a community for it, but let's just try it. And maybe I can take off that 20 pounds again. And very quickly discovered that there were people online. I joined a Facebook group and that kind of stuff, which then that led me to Dr. Barry's channel. And I sort of accidentally went carnivore, but it was finding the carnivore community that I was like, oh, okay, I'm only eating meat. And look, these other people are too. And then because of that, that's one of the reasons I made my channel, because I had a little weight to lose, but not a lot. The other benefits I got from doing carnivore were things that you can't see just by looking at me. I can't show you a before and after picture. So the only way for me to share that with people is to talk about it on YouTube, apparently, because that's what I decided to do. And I think that's because similar to what Rick was saying, there are some people in my own life that have changed their way of eating, not to totally carnivore though. And other people, and they've all been like in my own family. But other people, they don't make fun of me, let's say, or put me down for it. But you can tell they're like, but she should be eating vegetables. And I think they're kind of waiting for me to have Rick's heart attack. But I also made the YouTube channel and then started meeting all of people like this on the screen right here. And it's been very helpful because yes, there was weight loss and there were other benefits, but then Neah knows very well, there's some stubborn things sometimes. Some of us, and Cammie too, right? There are some stubborn things. And I don't always know what to do to fix it, even from all the, I don't even know how many carnivore videos that I've watched. But I can check in with you guys and say, hey, have you experienced this? Or do you know someone who has? Or I watch a video and go, oh, Cammie has issues with that too. Let me email her or text her. And let's talk about it or stuff like that. So that's really great. And then after I went to Hack Your Health too, I met John there. I met Neah there, and many, many others. And like John said, I came out of there with this like high that lasted for quite a while. It was almost surreal getting to see these people in 3 dimensions, in real life. And, because like I said, in real life where I live right here, I don't know any carnivores. I know 0 carnivores, only the people through YouTube. And so to meet those people in real life was awesome. And you don't feel like such an outsider or like you're the only one anymore when you get to meet them and shake their hand and give them a hug and stuff. So that was really great. I definitely plan on attending more events in the future. I've got a couple lined up for this year that I'm going to go to. So I'm excited for that and to see those people. So it's such a benefit. I don't think that I would be as successful or even able to stick to it as well if I didn't have the people around me. Even though I'm very, I've decided to do it and I would do it, but I would probably have a lot more thoughts about it in my head because I wouldn't have these people and the videos that I get to see to remind me and to reassure me. And the last thing I'm going to say is carnivore is simple, as Rick said, but there's a lot of other information, like DC said, right? With you start learning all the other kind of health hacks, like the grounding and things like that. And then you also learn, oh, I thought this was just for weight loss, but oh my gosh, it can help diabetes. It can help fatty liver. It can help depression. It helped my son with his ADHD. Who knew? And if I wouldn't have been in this community and plugged into it, I wouldn't have learned all those benefits. And I sure wouldn't have put my son on it
to see if it would help his ADHD. So it's because of that his life, has improved so much. And I'm very grateful for that.
Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Peter, otherwise known as Papa Carnivore, coming up on 19 months. November 1st will be 19 months carnivore. I found carnivore. I had just recently, in January of 2023, had gotten diagnosed as a full-blown diabetic with an A1C, I don't know, between 8 and 9, something crazy. I had sky-high blood pressure, was taking medicine for that, 2 different medicines. Depression, anxiety, acid reflux. I was taking omeprazole. A lot of you know what that is. I had a lot of problems: bloating, IBS, migraines, a lot of stuff. And I was 300 pounds. Got to my highest weight. I was morbidly obese. I told the doctor, he wanted to put me on metformin and start that whole thing or whatever, insulin. I don't even know. I said, give me 6 months and let me try and figure this out with diet and exercise. I had no clue what I was talking about, but I got scared. So I went on YouTube and I found a guy named Dr. Berry. A lot of you guys know him too. And there's a very popular, one of his most popular videos called Reverse Diabetes. It's got bazillion million hits. And he started talking about a proper human diet. And I guess it was mainly keto and how you could reverse diabetes without medicine, and high blood pressure, which I had, he was talking about. He talked about depression and all these other things. And I'm like, wow, I'm going to try this. So here we are now. I'm 624 days, lost 101 pounds. I'm now 199. I haven't been under 200 since I was 19 years old, I think. I was in high school. No more diabetes, high blood pressure. I don't take any more medicine. I'm off everything completely. Depression, anxiety is in remission. But I want to talk about a story from my childhood, Rick. Rick, you there? Rick, he reminded me that I've actually been an underground carnivore since I was a little kid. And I'll tell you why, because Rick got me thinking. When I was a little kid, as young as I can remember, I remember I'd love to make eggs, and my mom let me cook on a little skillet, like fried eggs and scrambled eggs, and I would make bacon and sausage. I loved all that stuff, and I love that today. I eat eggs and bacon and stuff for breakfast. But I remember at dinner time, we would have this little fight, and the whole table would be gone. My brothers and sister would be gone. It would just be me and my mom. She wouldn't let me leave the table because I had some vegetables left that I wouldn't eat the vegetables, and it was like a negotiation. Eat 4 more peas. Eat 10 more peas. Well, I'll eat 4. No, all right, eat 8. We had it was like a back and forth. And I remember there was a potted plant that was behind me. And when she wasn't looking, I would take the peas and I would stick them into the dirt behind me. I would dump out I hated vegetables. I loved the meat. So obviously, as I got older, I started with the cookies, cakes, pies, and candy, like everybody else as a teenager. But I will just get back to community. I don't have anybody, just like you, Christy, nobody around me is even keto, nothing, let alone carnivore. So you guys are my community. I'm in, as you guys all know, I'm in a lot of different chats with a lot of different channels, and I'm going to my first live meetup on the 25th with Mitch from Old Guy Carnivore. Love Mitch. So I'm going to be up there in Melbourne, Florida, meeting at a Brazilian steakhouse. First time ever meeting a real live carnivore. So I'm really excited. But I will tell you, with addiction, isolation is the friend of addiction. Just remember that. I don't care what you're addicted to. Community is the enemy, is the absolute enemy of addiction. And with us, we're talking about carbohydrates and sugar addiction. So community is your best friend. If you can somehow hook in, go into these chat rooms, ask your questions, go to meetups. But that's my best advice. Sorry I took so long, but very, very, very important. I don't think I could have done this without community. I know I couldn't have done it. I was way too addicted. Okay.
All right, thank you. My name is Cammie from Last Day of Normal, and I have always had a teacher's heart. I've never had a teacher's job, but anytime I get into something, I want to share it with everyone. So when I was doing sourdough and sauerkraut and like all the homemaking things that I thought were going to be super healthy, I would do like classes at my church group, and I would share with ladies kefir, like water kefir. And so I would just share and share and share and share. And when I found carnivore, which I'm also at 19 months, I found that people were not so excited and did not want to share. And that sharing heart that I had was going to waste. And that's kind of when I started on YouTube. It was a great place to share. And having that feedback from people is really fun. And I love the community. And Christy was so kind to let me interview her and kind of practice being online. It was a lot of fun to meet her. And everybody is really, really kind in this community. So even recently, I kind of like stopped making videos for a little while, and just my schedule at work changed, and I'm really busy, and I don't have the same time to devote to it. And I have found myself in my thinking wondering, is this really what I need to be doing? And like those questions, like we are just the ideas of the world are very oppressive, and you start to not doubt, but just, well, maybe it won't be that big of a deal to eat blah, 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 blah. And I find that it's really hard to combat that without the community. And we can't just call up a doctor when we have a question, because none of our doctors really know how to heal. They're not healers. And so we have to come towards each other. And I'm really glad that we're here. I also kind of have a prepper heart, and there's not a lot of carnivore preppers. And like, so how do you plan for something and prepare for things when you really want to do it just carnivore? And so that is another good, we found others, Neah and DC Learning to Live. Like, there are other carnivore preppers that we can turn to. I think it would be super fun to have a carnivore prepper meetup where we practice cooking in different methods, emergency methods. We've seen this hurricane blow through our country. You have to know how to cook the food that you're preserving. So I think it would be super fun to have that opportunity to just practice different methods of emergency cooking our carnivore preps.
Well, funny you say that, Cammie, because Ashley knows this. We're having our next meetup in DFW area, obviously. And that's kind of why we're doing it outside. And we're going to bring some small grills this time. And that's sort of been something that I wanted to do also, is do some outdoor cooking and maybe bring some solar ovens and, just kind of start doing some of this stuff too, because I think not even necessarily from a prepping mindset, but also because it's fun and it just it feels more natural, and it's fun to kind of make a bigger deal out of cooking it, versus, because we don't always get to enjoy that in other social situations, because we're not participating in a lot of the food. So if anybody's in the Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas area or wants to come down for that, it's going to be November 16th. And so, you can find out more info on that on my channel or Ashley's channel. But we were also both just at the Wisconsin meetup in Montello, which was amazing. And that's kind of why I picked this theme for this week, is because it's so, like, doing this stuff online is fantastic, and I love it, and it has the potential to reach a lot of people. All of our channels do, but doing stuff in person like that, where you really get to like hug someone and shake their hand. I mean, I had people coming up to me and telling me their story, and they were crying. Like, it's just like, it's so impactful to actually be in the same room with people. And so obviously the in-person events and things are so powerful as well. But I also just find myself blabbing about this to people that, maybe don't care so much or don't have as much interest as I do in all of the nuance of health and a lot of what's going on in terms of what the mainstream is telling us and all this kind of stuff. And so that's why I have a channel, because that's the place where you can just put it out there and people can change the channel if they don't want to hear it. So but yeah, I'm so grateful to this community. And the only other point that I would say is in my own personal journey, I've really always been kind of a loner, like a lone wolf, what was it? One man wolf pack or whatever they call it, where, I've just always been very, very independent and like, I can do this on my own. I don't need help. I can figure it out. And having that mentality is good to a certain degree, right? Because a lot of times we are going it alone when our doctors haven't helped and we're sort of at the end of our options, and you have to go and figure it out for yourself. But I never prioritized community, and I never really went out and looked for other people that were maybe suffering from the same things that I was suffering from because of, shame and feeling bad about, being addicted or having GI issues, and it was weird and I didn't want to talk about it. And so, I probably in some ways prolonged my own negative health experience, because I didn't prioritize finding other people who were on that path to wellness. And so that's another reason why I share about some uncomfortable things, is because I want more people to feel comfortable getting help and knowing that there's another way besides the ways that they've been maybe shown by healthcare providers and mainstream nutrition. And so, and I love doing things like this because it's just awesome. And we're getting so many comments coming through the chat as well about that, everybody loves these group lives and finds this refreshing, and I do too. So let's see. I know we had a question a little bit further back here from Michael about air fryers. So maybe we can just kind of bounce this out to whoever has a comment. What are your opinions on air fryers? I know some people, I have one, but it's not probably the best one ever because it's got the coating on it. But what do y'all think about cooking methods and air fryers?
I'm not using an air fryer now. I have one, and I started out using the air fryer. I got myself a really good vintage. Rick, you would love this thing. I don't even know. It's probably from the 50s or 60s. It's an old Griswold number 8 cast iron, one of these heavy suckers.
I got one.
Yeah, Griswold number 8. It's like classic. And
Best.
I cook in that, and I just love it. I put a little beef tallow or butter, and I just put my steak or tonight I had hamburgers. I just go and put them in there. It's easy. It's fast. The cleanup is a breeze. That's what I'm using right now, guys.
That's it. And when it comes to frying, forget the air fryer. In my kitchen, it's the stove. That's my fryer.
Yeah.
You got a stainless steel pot or a cast iron pot full of beef tallow or lard. Get that hot. Throw in your duck, chicken, iguana, whatever, pork. Cook it right up, and you're ready to go. Shrimp, excellent.
I'm with Rick. I don't like air fryer. I have one. It's one of the old non-stick ones. I even when I used it, it's a lot of cleanup, and I just have to get all the gunk off. So I use my Traeger grill. I smoke meats.
Nice.
I use a regular grill. I use my cast iron skillet every day in my kitchen, and it's the old heavy. I have 3 sizes of the heavy ones, and I just clean it with water, and then I coat it with tallow and put it back in the oven for storage.
And cleanup is easy when you cook with animal fats. If you use vegetable oils, it is a sticky, disgusting mess. Greasy, gummy, nasty. But when you cook with real animal fats, cleanup is so simple. You can use Dawn soap, or you can do what I do. Just by washing soda, put it on there, put a little water, scrub it around. It comes real clean.
You can use just salt. Water, salt is the abrasive.
And the best thing is the animal fats don't rust your metal like the vegetable oils do. The vegetable oils oxidize, and they will eventually cause your metal to rust if they're not properly cleaned. But the animal fats don't do that.
A good point about the fact that they oxidize, and it's an example of that it oxidizes. It does it in your body too if you have vegetable oils. seed oil.
Yeah, I remember like I don't know, maybe a year ago or a couple of years ago, people were just like, "Oh, get an air fryer, do your meat in the air fryer," and all this sort of BS. So I thought I'd try it because everyone thought these things were so wonderful. So I got a really cheap, nice air fryer. But honestly, I only use it now to boil eggs. That's it, because it's a mess to clean up. It's that non-stick crap that you don't want on your food anyway. I think I just bought the egg cooker now.
I like John.
Well, I
to
love
have a
my air
smoker.
fryer.
Oh, sorry, Neah. I have
Go
a
ahead.
Traeger like John, and that's my baby right there. I could try to smoke as much as I can on that, but just out of convenience, I've also got what's called a little Ninja grill, and that thing is fantastic because it just heats up real quick. I cook my steak on there in about 6.5 minutes, and it's done. So for convenience factor, I do love that. And we did a lot in the air fryer too, and that was just convenience wise, quick, easy cleanup. That's great. And then the other almost daily use is the cast iron. I totally agree. I mean, that's a beautiful piece of equipment right there.
Yeah,
Cook a lot in the cast iron.
Yeah, grills are good. I think it's the best way to cook steak.
Are there any air fryers that are completely stainless? Like I know you were talking about one in the beginning, because I have the Ninja 6-in-1 thing too, and it's got the so I bought like a stainless steel rack for it that fits in there, but you know, still the bin and whatever it's in is still got the Teflon on it. So
My air fryer is all stainless steel. It's Emerald Lagasse. It was expensive, but I got it as a gift, so I didn't pay for it.
Ooh,
but it's all
okay.
stainless steel, and it has like 12 or 13 functions. Like you can bake in it too. You can do a lot of things. Toast, bake, air fry. I don't know. It has like 12
is it more
functions.
like a toaster oven style?
It's like a toaster oven style. It has double doors. It has a thing in the middle, so you can cook on two sides at once, doing two different things or what. So it was expensive, like I said, but I got it as a gift and didn't have to pay for it myself. But it gets used every day.
Okay.
I have it's called Chef Man, and it's a stainless steel. Looks like a toaster oven. It does like 12 different modes, and it kind of folds down the door like a toaster oven, and it's all stainless steel and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's great. It's a pretty easy cleanup. It's just once I started going with the cast iron pan, the way that the meat comes out seared so beautifully, and the way and it's quick and easy, and it's just the taste of the food on that is just insane. Yeah. I would do the outdoor grill, but I'm in a condo, so I can't do an outdoor grill.
That's it.
Yeah, I think they have a stainless steel air fryer. I've seen it at Costco lately. So if you have a Costco close by, and this one I just looked up Christie's on Amazon too. But yeah, you can actually type in a stainless steel air fryer, and there's several options that come up. But I'm pretty sure I've seen one at Costco.
Okay, maybe if I'm really good for the next couple months, Santa will bring me, because I need a new dehydrator too.
Oh yeah, my air fryer, it dehydrates too.
Really? Okay.
So does my smoker. That's all I'm saying.
Well, see, if I didn't live in an apartment, I would
I'm going
100%
shopping look on
get
the face.
smoker.
Neah, what happened to your old dehydrator?
Well, I think I ruined it. I mean, it still works, but the trays, I put them in the dishwasher.
Oh.
And they started to like the mesh part just has separated from the ring on the outside on a couple of them, and I still use it, but it's about ready to like completely crack off on several of them, which those are replaceable. I could just order new ones. But then I'm like, well, if I spend money on that, I might as well just put that towards getting one that's, again, stainless steel instead of plastic. So I'm not getting the, heated plastic on my food and all that stuff. Just get a better one.
Does anybody else cook on the engine, or am I the only one?
You're it, Rick.
You're it, Rick. You are the guy that invents a lot of this stuff that we listen to. It's pretty cool. I want to see it. I have to see this in person one day.
Yeah, you would laugh if you saw the way I made it. I made it with a pressure washer, with some stainless steel sheets and a pressure washer. That's how I made my engine cooker.
That's amazing. And how now? Do you drive around while it's cooking and it's on
Yes.
there? How does
Yes.
it not fall? I mean, how do you stabilize it?
Well, the engine cookers I make, they have clamps. You know, I did a video on how you can do a impromptu version using aluminum foil,
Check that
but
out.
the one that I have is an actual stainless steel. It's like a stainless steel, like a dog bowl, and then I custom made a lid for it. What you can do, you could use a hammer and just pound it on a piece of wood and then bend over the edge. And then there's a clamp, there's a band clamp you put around it, and it holds it together. Now it's not watertight, so but if it was, it would explode. So when you put your food in there, you just make sure you don't fill it all the way up. It'll shake around, but you know what? It actually helps in some cases when you're making a stew because you don't have to stir it. So when you're driving down the road, the engine's got that vibration going, and you hit a bump, and you can make some really good stew like that.
So this is totally enclosed. When you're,
Yes.
it's not
It's
like
like-
just sitting. I was envisioning just sticking a chicken on top of the engine block, and maybe you tied it down and I didn't realize you have it totally encapsulated. All right, I get it now.
Yeah, what it is, it's basically like a dog bowl. Imagine like a stainless steel dog bowl, and then it has straps welded on the bottom of it, and you put it on top of the exhaust manifold, and then that way the heat is rising. And then you put your lid on it, you clamp it down, and then you drive around. It takes about anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour to get a good cook, depending on what you're cooking. And usually I'll be cooking some kind of meat. I'll cook beef or pork or iguana or whatever I have handy, and I'll get it cooking. Shrimp is excellent. You can cook shrimp so easily. It only takes maybe 15, 20 minutes max. You cook it on low. You just add water. That's all you got to do. Put the shrimp in water, put it in the container, put it on top of the engine. You know, if you got to drive to Harbor Freight or whatever, or you got to drive to Hialeah, by the time you get there, it's already nicely cooked, and you don't want to overcook it because it'll get rubbery. But I've made some delicious food on the engine. I've had people that were eating with me when I was working. They go out to one of the choke and puke or whatever, you know, the roach coach. And meanwhile, I'm over there eating, and they're like, wow, that smells good. What is that? Oh, it's fried chicken. Where'd you get the fried chicken? I cooked it on the engine. What? And the other thing is I have a portable grill that you can stick in the tailgate. You know, I have one you can set in the bed of the truck, or you stick the other one in the trailer hitch, and then you can put your pot with lard or tallow on it and get it fired up. You can fry right there. I've fried fish, frogs, iguana, all kinds of stuff when I'm on the job. It's just so easy, and it's fun too, because everybody's like, you know, they're either laughing or in horror. So you get like the entertainment value at the same time you get delicious food.
Rick's mystery meat.
No, it's cooked in a mystery way. The meat is great. It sounds great, Rick.
But it's very tasty.
I'm
The thing
sure.
is, you can also cook non-carnivore foods too if you want. You got a V8, you got 2 exhaust manifolds. So if you have a friend that's a vegetarian or a whole foods, you know, kind of whatever, they want to cook up something vegetable based, you can put it in the other pot. So you have like 2 pots, one for the good food and one for the duck food. And it always comes out good. And it's so much better because if you go to one of these restaurants, you never know what you're getting. You know, I had a friend give me some leftover chicken, and it gave me diarrhea today. And I found out that instead of being cooked in, you know, beef tallow, his daughter cooked it in canola oil. So now I have to suffer because of somebody's idiotic mistake. So it's safer to just cook it yourself. And, you know, what's a better value? You got to go somewhere to a restaurant or a food truck, or just hit the supermarket. And then you can buy the marked down stuff, you know, it makes sense. And it's so simple. You don't have to worry about spices. Yeah, you want to put salt, put salt. Just throw it in the pot, throw it on the engine, or fire up the grill. Everybody should have a portable grill, in my opinion. Why wouldn't you? It's just so convenient.
Good points.
Yeah. I agree, Rick.
I love it. And going back to the whole community question, I mean, look at the one question that came out. Look at how many answers are in the comments and people just chiming in, offering their advice. And you got all these different smokers to Emerald Grills to Dreo chef maker to cooking on the engine. I mean, who would, unless you're in a community, where would you get that much advice in one 5-minute session?
Yeah.
Love it.
Exactly.
Having said, I mean, I think it like you said, it's very important. Like it's great to have community to get, like I said before too, you get a lot of different people's experiences. And you know, like every subject is the same, whether it's you're talking about diet or anything else, anything health related, or even, I mean, that's why there's so many clubs around too. Like you have car clubs, sporting clubs, all sorts of things, because community works, you know.
Yep.
But having said that, don't be afraid to go it alone. If I mean, like, I just want to like it. Sometimes everyone around you and everything around you is telling you that it can't happen, that it won't work, or that it's finished, sort of thing. But don't let that distract you from what you want to do. Like, because I mean, I've been in that situation. People didn't think I was going to last 2 months, and then like throughout my treatment period, like I always had people around me telling me that I don't have long to live. Don't be afraid to. I mean, just sometimes you just got to block out the noise and just go at your own, just walk your own path and just do it anyway. You know.
Yeah, I know for me, the biggest thing in the beginning, until I really saw lots of videos about cholesterol and fiber and all these things that people, because people around you will literally tell you you're going to die, you're going to have a heart attack, they scare you and stuff. And I think what the community did was it gave me the confidence and everyone around going, what are you, crazy? This is this is so healthy. Here's why. And I just think I got so much confidence and information, and then that led me to do more investigative work on videos and, going to Dave Feldman or whoever it was, Dr. Ovadia, about cholesterol or whoever it was, to find out my answers, and I think that helps, when you're, especially like us, a lot of us are alone in this thing. So unless you have the confidence to know that what you're doing is healthy, when everyone around you saying you're going to die, you're going to kill yourself, this is very important. That confidence.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And that's why I love doing all this, because it's encouraging. And when you feel supported, then you feel like, even if the people there in your life, I'll think about this too. It just helps keep you on track. And then I want to get to this question, but it just helps keep you on track, because you think, okay, well, maybe you have a favorite live stream that you tune into or whatever. And it's like, yeah, no one can see what I'm doing right now, and I could probably eat this and no one would ever know, right? But I'd still have to kind of show up there at my favorite stream or whatever you're participating in and be accountable. And so accountability is another huge point that, a good positive thing that community brings as well. Whether you're on the content creation side or you're hanging out in the chat or participating in these communities in any way, it helps keep us all on track, even though we might be alone in our regular lives with this stuff.
Well, it helps confirm that you're going in the right direction. Like it's sort of reassuring, But at the end of the day, like you still have to. I mean, sometimes even when everything or everyone around you is telling you like it's not going to happen, sort of thing, you just have to prove it to yourself that you can do it. So I don't think, like, it's great to have community, and it really does reassure you that, and it is comforting to know that you are doing the right thing. So it's really good to have a community like this, but it's also, you also need to be strong enough to go it alone too, because sometimes you may have to do that in life. I mean, everyone around you is telling you it can't be done. Just show them that it can. It doesn't, just because no one else has done it doesn't mean you can't.
Right, absolutely. I see some people answered this, but just because it was a formal question, I wanted to pop it up here. Since most, from INFJ Tyrone, since most pigs eat a bad diet, doesn't the bad stuff end up in their fat? And so we could kind of generalize this out, monogastrics versus ruminants, but then potentially, traditionally fed animals versus maybe grass-fed, grass-finished animals. What do y'all think?
Well, it's healthier than cereal. All right. Pork is healthier than the standard American diet. And the omega-6 is higher in a monogastric animal that is eating really bad food. If you can get pork that is sourced better from a local farmer. It has a better content in its fat. But pork is healthy, and people eat pork, and it's not that bad. Beef is king, as I said to the viewer in the comment. You want to have more beef and healthier meats, but pork, some people want to rule it out completely because they heard this concept. And, don't be afraid of pork. Just don't eat it every day, is my opinion.
Like once in a while, like any monogastric animal, whatever they have fed will come out in their flesh or their products. So eggs are the same, with chicken and eggs. So whatever the hormones and everything that the chicken is eating, obviously, and it's a very lean meat compared to pork, but it will come out in their products, but it's still much healthier than eating the standard Western diet for a start.
Yeah.
But it's the only time that I suggest people avoid it. For example, if they're not eating enough, a good mix of fats will really help to sort of balance out that linoleic acid and everything like that. But if you have a weight loss store, for example, the reason that may be, even if you think you're a strict carnivore diet, but you're eating pork and chicken and store-bought eggs sort of thing, the soy that comes out in the flesh will still cause you to store fat. Okay, so it depends on what your goals are, and depends on how often you're eating it. Okay, but it's about if you can get pasture raised, it's always better than these corporate farmed fed animals that. And if you can do it yourself, then even better. So.
Yeah. I must be lucky. I eat chicken and pork practically every day, and I've never had an issue with it. But I have had times where I have to eat too much of it because beef is too expensive. And I have to admit, like when my digestive system gets messed up like it is now, I may have to add the fermented banana flowers or sauerkraut to clean it out. So I may have to use a little bit of plant medicine to make up for the bad thing that I ate the last time. But yeah, some people are very sensitive. They can't eat that stuff. If you can eat beef, that's the best. Lamb, deer, anything that's ruminant animal, I think that's the way to go. Yeah. But if you have to eat, if you have to go to the canal and eat a duck or iguana, that's not the worst because at least they're natural. And if you're really poor and you got to eat the 79 cents a pound pork shoulder, I've done it. I've done it for most of my life and it hasn't killed me yet. So like you said, it's better than the cereal because I just could not imagine having to eat cereal. That is disgusting. I mean, I'd rather go outside and eat the grass out of my yard instead of cutting it than eat cereal. That's horrible. I mean, shoot, I'd rather just get some grass and try to ferment it like a cow. That would be better than eating cereal. Seriously.
Be healthier.
Well, Rick, I think the reason that you can tolerate a broad variety of food is because you haven't been eating this food your whole life. You've been healthy for so much longer than anybody else.
That's true.
That's a good point. I agree.
My stomach was like you, Neah. My stomach was so wrecked. I mean, it just took a while to heal my gut. I mean, it just, the beef was really the best for me.
Yeah, I agree. I was listening to an interview today that just came out on Judy Cho's channel about a woman. She wasn't totally carnivore, but she talked about having to eat a pureed diet for like 9 months.
Oh man.
And so she would take ground beef and cook it and then put it in a blender and puree it like baby food basically, and had to do, a tablespoon at a time in order to be able to digest and absorb anything. And she was like skin and bones, because she couldn't absorb anything. And so, yeah, it's, and she talked about the fact too, that she didn't eat organic. Even she was eating fruit and stuff and doing pureed fruits and things like that. And she didn't even do organic and she was able to heal. So, I think I forgot where I was going with that, but basically,
I think
it can be hard on the gut.
You can still heal. Like after my transplant, for example, like because I was literally microwaved inside out, I was shedding skin like a snake from the inside. Like all my esophagus, my stomach, all my digestive tract, everything was passing like thick layers of skin for months afterwards. I had a massive ulcer in my stomach. But like I wasn't on a real clean diet, but what I was eating a lot more of was a lot more fatty meat afterwards, and I still healed. I'm still healed, like I'm still healing from other things. But it's as long as you are getting good animal fats. Fats I think have been the biggest improvement for my health. Especially after such a dramatic sort of situation. It's incredible what your body can do if you give it, give it the good fats, give it a decent diet.
Well, we are almost out of time already. And so I just want to give everybody a quick, 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds or whatever, again, to just go around and let us know where we can find you. Any last thoughts on the community topic for the evening? So we'll start again at DC and we'll snake our way around.
Okay. DC, Learning to Live. My channel is all about, it's about everything really, like learning to live your best life again. And I have a podcast talking to people, doctors, anyone really, their healing stories as well. They've got stories of healing, plus learning to live their best lives. And it's about, also tracking my journey, life after chemotherapy and things like that. I have a couple of big things coming up. Actually, on the 30th, I will be doing a live event with Dr. Anthony Chafee and Sammy Tagano and Professor Bart Kay. We're talking about cancer and metabolic health. So, come along because it's going to be a very good event. So that's where you can find me. I'm on YouTube, Rumble, and a few other social medias. So check it out.
Where is that event? You said, is it live in person or is it a live stream on YouTube?
A live stream on YouTube, yeah.
Okay.
On the 30th.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry, Rick, go ahead.
No problem. Well, you know me, Rick, Charger Mopar at YouTube. Been there since 2007. Started on YouTube to try to meet someone in person. Hasn't happened yet, but I think it will eventually happen. So I'm still out there. My channel is probably the least technical because I'm a poor man. I don't have editing software. My computer's more than 10 years old. I put short videos of things that I find interesting. I do little bits of here and there of what ideas that I have. I haven't done any interviews because, again, I'm too poor to have streaming software. But I've been interviewed by a lot of people. You can find me all around YouTube. I don't do social media because I don't like it. The last time I was on social media is when we had MySpace. So that gives you an idea, GeoCities and all that. So I've been on the internet a long time. I used to do IRC, ICQ and all that stuff and AOL Instant Messenger and all that nonsense. But really, my channel is just about hoping one day I'll meet somebody and share my experience. You might be able to learn from me. I doubt that anybody wants to be like me, but I could be a good person that you can learn from.
Absolutely, Rick. If I ever make it to Florida, you'll be the first place I visit.
Love it,
Good
Rick.
deal.
Love it, Rick. Awesome. Well, hey, I just wanted to wrap my story up with I hope more people do what I've been blessed to do, and that is go to a lot of meetups. That is the in-person meetups is my favorite. I've been fortunate to go to 6 or 7 now, and every time I go, I meet the coolest new people. And what's great about it is they had to have the courage to go to that meetup as well. And generally you have a common thread, and that's the reason why you're going. But a lot of times you don't know a lot of the people that are there. And every time I've gone, this last one when we were in Montello, I just have to say I got to check everybody in who was going into the theater and make sure it was a pre-registered event type of thing. But as they were walking down the street, I was like, oh, that one's a carnivore. That one's a carnivore. Everybody there was just smiling and glowing and happy. And it was so fun to be around. And that's what I found at every event that I've been able to go to with the carnivore community. Is just everybody's fantastic. And I think there's nothing like the community, and get involved, push yourself a little bit if you have to, but get involved in the community when an opportunity comes up. Rick in Florida, we've got to make sure you're there. We'll get you there.
I agree. That was great. Absolutely, Ashley. And it was so cool to meet you and everybody on the screen here that I got to meet there. I live literally an hour and 20 minutes from Rick. Rick, we got to meet up, buddy. We'll make a point to meet up for lunch or something, and I'll eat some of your heart attack chicken.
There you go.
Totally.
What about me? I live right next to you.
We'll meet up and drive down. We'll go down and let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm John Laspina. I'm Carnivore Teacher on YouTube. I put a lesson out as a teacher every single day. So if you want to check out my channel, they're short. They're usually no more than 5 to 7 minutes. Try to make my point. People respond. A lot of people in the comments that they learned something, which just reinforces, makes me feel like I'm doing my job of paying it forward and reaching people. Community has, I'm an introvert. 100%. And when I started getting healthy by eating this way, I came out of my shell a lot. I went to this Hack Your Health thing, the last one. You would think I was an extrovert because I'm so confident in myself now. And I'm still an introvert because I get my energy from within, not from other people, but I still got energized. So community is so very important. And so is this way of eating for a healthy life.
Hello again. I'm Christy. Meeting Wellness is my channel, or one of my channels. And I have a lot of recipes on there if you're looking for that. I recently transferred my son, who was 15 when he started and now 16. So there's a lot of things about the way that I did that, if that's something you're interested in, because he has a lot of texture issues and that wasn't easy. I also do interviews on my channel. I recently interviewed Professor Bart K, which was really great because I got to ask him a lot of questions that I've heard in live streams that I didn't know the answer to. And I thought, who better to ask? And I had them all listed out and I asked him all of them. I do other interviews. I have some coming up, one with Limitless Lindy and some other great people coming up. I have another channel that is really focused on community, because when I first started my YouTube channel and I would get on lives like this, that was my other favorite thing to do, is get on lives, but not on the screen, but in the comments. But you'd see lives like this with all these people and there might be one woman on the screen. It was a lot of men. We love the men, but it's nice to also, when you would just see this like rare woman. Oh, wow, there are other women carnivores out there. And so we started with my friend Ellie, who was in the chat earlier. And we started a show called Lioness Lifestyle. So we focus on the meat-based women in this community. And it's pretty cool because since starting that, we've interviewed, there she is, Lioness Lifestyle Live Roar. She's commenting. Thanks, Ellie. So yeah, we started interviewing different meat-based women to get their perspective and their story. And it is really amazing when you stack, week after week after week, story after story after story of what happened to them. And we recently started our own channel. We used to just stream, like I would stream it to Meeting Wellness, but we started a Lioness Lifestyle live channel. So I would love it if anyone go over there and subscribe if you haven't yet, because that way when we're live, we can all be in one chat together instead of spread all over YouTube. So it's a great community and a great place to be.
So I don't have a YouTube channel, but I do participate. I'm pretty active, and I try and I'm all over the place. Kerry's channel, Neah, everywhere. So you'll find me. I try and answer any questions. So if you see me out there, ask me questions. I'm here to help, and I love getting information from others, and it's just great to share. And I've picked up a lot of great tips. And I think the most recent one that I've been giving out is just keep that fat content high, for the most part, for max healing. And a lot of people who are new to carnivore, they're experiencing low energy and they're having trouble losing weight, and they're not feeling their best. So try and keep the fat high. I try and keep it 70-75% is about where I feel my best. That's about it. I think community is great, and try not to be alone. Isolation is a killer. You stand a much higher chance of success if you are, sharing.
Yes. And we also have, I don't know if obligation is the right word, but we have an opportunity to share our stories with other people and to inspire other people. When you're searching for healing, you get on these videos and you're like, okay, Ken, Barry, you say this, but does that really work? And you get into the comments and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are, you know, like bearing their testimony, their witness that it does work. And we can be those people for other people and share that message and give people hope.
Also, one last thing is I think these smaller groups like what we're doing, it's much easier when you're in the Dr. Barry. I love him, God love him, but that thing flies and you got a million comments. You can't even follow it. So if you can find a smaller community like this is really helpful because you can get your question answered. You're not going to get a billion different people telling you a billion different things because then it gets confusing.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I think I would just echo everything that was said. I think community has been the last missing piece for me. And like Cammie said, I think I would use the obligation. I think if you have life-changing information, you should put it out there. Obviously, it's not medical advice, right? None of us are doctors. We're not, telling you specifically what to do, but it feels good to share something that has changed your life in such a meaningful and profound way. And I think that's what we're meant to do as humans. We're storytellers naturally. We pass things down that way. And so that's why we do this. So thanks everybody for being in the chat tonight. You all are awesome. And we'll be doing this again in 2 weeks. So we skip a Thursday and then we come back for a new topic. And thank you everybody for being on the panel tonight, for your time and your contribution to this community. I love all of you, and we will see you all soon for another episode. Take care, everybody.
Thank you, Neah.
Stay strong. Keep eating that meat.
Next time.